disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're heavy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're heavy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you for joining us. We got some news today. Not 100% confirmed, but it's looking good. At least they're talking. We might be getting Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua in 2021, 2 fights, because there will be there's rumored to be a rematch clause, as there should be for a fight of this magnitude. So we're going to be talking about that, whether that's actually going to happen, what else could happen, how the fight would go down, styles matchups, and so on and so forth. Guys, thank you for joining us. Before we continue, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to BDA Live. Check out the last video we did on Vasyl Lomachenko and whether Teofimo Lopez should actually make him come to him so he can counter the shit out of him, because Lomachenko seems to be at his most vulnerable, not 100% vulnerable, but I'm saying at his most vulnerable when he's jumping in, trying to score points. So maybe that would be something that Lopez could do. So check that out. Let us know what you think. Also, don't forget, you can send us a couple of shekels our way via the super chat feature during the show. You can go to the Patreon page, or you can go also to the BDA PayPal page. So check it out there. But the most important thing, of course, we ask of you always for your support here. Spread the BDA gospel. Let people know about the Kumite, the BDA Kumite. So if you got people that disagree with each other about something related to boxing, nothing personal, keep it boxing, tell them we got sacred neutral ground here where they can come in and shoot the I was going to curse there. Try not to curse so much. Kumite, whatever it is. Anyway, listen, let's get down to business. Here we got Stu on the line. And I'm sure he's got something to say about this rumored Anthony Joshua Fury fight.
How you doing, fellas?
Good to have you on board there.
Nice to have a nice, good topic to talk about. Let's go whet the appetite again.
That's
get
right.
my enthusiasm back for the sport. And this is the sort of fights that I want to see. I mean,
actually,
there's a little... Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go on.
Before we start on that, did you watch, any of you guys watch the fights last night? The first card we had since this whole pandemic thing?
No, I was running some birds. I was some chicks outside.
Why'd you say you were checking some chicks out?
I was running some girls' house. Yeah, I missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it, man. I mean, I saw the fight. Shakur Stevenson, he looked good. I mean, he did what he had to against a guy that was just coming forward. Wasn't really top level. And but the funny thing is this, they've been comparing him to Floyd Mayweather, and he's very adamant about how he's not Floyd Mayweather. He wants to be the next Shakur Stevenson, not the next Floyd Mayweather. And he's very well aware that the comparison to Mayweather is that he's more of a safety first, one punch at a time type of boxer. So in this one, he had a guy that was coming forward, and he decided to stand his ground and really try to look impressive. The motherfucker hurt his hand teeing up on this guy, because that's the bad thing. Most of these guys, like Bucho says, they're used to slapping. They're not used to throwing, punches in bunches. So they don't really know that there's a technique behind hitting a guy when you got little 8-ounce gloves. And so he hurt his hand.
Yeah, they don't turn the shots. Problem with a lot of fighters, they're not turning their shots. They're slapping it, and they're not catching them with a knuckle. They're catching them with like the palm of the hand at times, and that's why Wilder snaps his hands all the time. And like I said, Calzaghe was another one. So if you're not turning your shot, how many hand injuries does Canelo and Golovkin get? Mm-hmm. None, because the way they throw a punch is technically superb. I mean, good point. This is the thing. I mean, the problem with a lot of these fighters is they spend too long in the gym trying to look pretty on the back foot, flicking out the jab, and they're not learning how to plant the feet and turn the shots properly. I don't get it, man.
Before, jeez, Butcher, you want to read the super chat, please? I'm having mic issues again.
Mike P, thank you for your contribution. He says, everyone that's been listening to BDA to try to contribute their best. That's right. Thanks for our contribution, man. I think you were. Are you yes, you are the donor of last month.
Mike P. Shout out to Mike. Yeah. Shout out to Mike. And by the way, I forgot to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. So I want to clear a lot of subjects before we get to the Joshua Fury thing. Shout out to Mike P. Thank you for your contribution. Revo Map, Gonzalo, Jason Bourne, Blue Collar Sport TV, aka Del Boy, Official Scorecard Boxing Science, SSB 28, Pink Panther, Virtuoso, Jay Perez, Boxing Virus, Stagnation, Rahowa, Endgame, Rinnegan Sensei, Andres Fernandez, Joy C67, and many more to come, I'm sure, guys. Thank you for joining us. Is Gonzalo still having issues? Because I sent him the link again.
I told you to call him again.
How do I call him? I
already sent him the link.
But I don't have him. Okay, take it easy. I don't have him on the speed dial here, or whatever you call it.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, see, I tried calling him and it kicked me out of the room. So, can't you send him the link? Can you hear me? All right, I'm having having technical issues here. Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, okay, I see we got Gonzalo there. All right, so
I sure can.
All right, shout out.
Continue. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay, Gonzalo. Thank you for being on. But Stu, you were making a great point about that. These guys don't learn how to throw turn their shots, and they're guys like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are from that generation that was inspired by Floyd Mayweather, one punch at a time, just move around. The type of things we don't want to pay for, really. I mean, we can appreciate the skill, but at some point you're thinking, are we really going to be staying up and paying $70 for a pay-per-view when these guys are on? I don't think so.
Listen, no, not me neither. The days of me killing my body, walking around with like eyes like piss holes in the snow, being miserable the next day because I've had about 2 hours sleep because I've stayed up till 6 in the morning to watch some trash card in America where someone's pop shotting their way to a points win against some bum are over for me. I mean, listen, my standards have risen. If that makes me a casual, sign me up. I don't want to be a boxing snob. I don't want to be a boxing hardcore. If it means staying up watching that shit every night, every weekend, sorry. So look, the standards have obviously got a bit higher now, and these are the sort of fights that are going to whet my appetite. Fury, Joshua, I don't give two tosses for Shakur Stevenson slapping his opponent up for a few rounds and making a hell of a lot of noise while he does it. I mean, fuck's sake, it's a lot like watching a German porn movie, listening to him. I mean, come on, man.
Achtung, ich bin Zeichen. But it's interesting. There's nothing wrong with German porn, by the way. Stu's not putting it down. He's just saying it sounded like German porn. We got nothing but respect for German porn here at BDA Boxing. Now,
Absolutely.
You got to remember that there's no audience, so that might get a little bit more exacerbated.
But speaking of that, Gonzalo, I don't know. Speaking of that, there was no crowd. Obviously, it was the first event since since the officials decided to shut down society because of a pandemic that seemed to be fake now. At least that's the way it seems now. And so there was no audience. But what they decided to do is they put speakers on, and I forget exactly how this worked, but I think you could comment. And through the speakers they would hear. I don't know. There was some sound in the background. It sounded like somebody had their TV on, and it was annoying as hell. I wanted to hear the punches. Meanwhile, we hear sound like distortion. It was disgusting. These ESPN people, they need to get their act together. They need the money right now. So I don't know why they would ruin it that way. Also, when they were doing the post-fight interview, I think it was Bernardo Osuna. He was the white guy doing the interview, and he was standing about 3, 4, 5, 6 feet away from Shakur Stevenson because of the fucking COVID thing. And I'm thinking, come on, man. It looked ridiculous, man. You're in the same vicinity of the guy. The world's going insane, man. But anyway, listen, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed the card. It was nice to see some boxing back, even if it wasn't the best matchup in the world. But hey, at least things are getting back on track. Tomorrow, JC Magdalena's going to be fighting. I think it's a grudge match. So we're going to be seeing what happens there. Also, speaking of punching power, Bernard Hopkins, they finally interviewed him on Ring Magazine for that Best I Ever Faced, where they tell you which fighter had the best hand speed, best power, and so on and so forth. When it came to fast hands, he said De La Hoya, which surprised me. I thought he was going to say Roy Jones, but he said De La Hoya. But he did say one interesting thing. He said Joe Calzaghe also had good hand speed. His punching power wasn't the best, he said, but it was like, he said it was like getting stung by thousands of bees. You can swat 1 or 2 off, but at some point you just got to run away. So he himself is admitting indirectly that he couldn't really keep up with Joe Calzaghe, hence all the fucking clinching and wrestling and all that. But again, the fight was very close, but it was just an interesting point he made. All right, listen, fellas, how about let's get down to it, man.
Yeah, let's get down to business, man.
This is just to give us a primer. Because Eddie Hearn came out today and he spoke to ESPN, and I think it was to ESPN, and he said that he worked out a deal between him and Frank Warren, and so that they're going to try to work and make Joshua Fury twice in 2021. No venue has been discussed yet. He says they got a lot of offers. There's no contract signed. They're still working out the details. So now Frank Warren came out and he says, well, he actually shit on Hearn a little bit. He says, Eddie Hearn can't help himself. He gave no new information. So he said that what Eddie Hearn divulged today wasn't really new. It's been known for months. He says there's nothing signed. There's nothing new agreed. We know it's going to be a 2-fight deal if it happens. We've talked about that already, but that's it. There's nothing else, he says. But anyway, they said it's going to be a 50...
Why is he saying that, though? I mean, okay, so first of all, a lot of people didn't know this shit, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't. So Eddie Hearn did say something that was new for a lot of people.
That's right.
And what I read in the comment section of that boxing scene article, it was pretty funny because somebody said Frank Warren is trying to say relevant, basically, and it's true because, like this guy said, it's Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn who are negotiating this fight. Frank Warren is on the sidelines, man, and he's just trying to stay relevant. That's my opinion. I think I agree with that guy.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Frank Warren was the guy that would always announce fights before they were even signed back in the early 2000s.
Mate, well, fucking, he used to have the posters up, but there'd be no fighters on it because he didn't even have the card ready. It would just be one fight on there. I mean, look, and that weren't even signed. I mean, this is the problem with Frank. I mean, revealing cards before they're even signed and stuff like that. I believe he's more of a manager to Fury than anything else. There's just no promotional power with Frank when it comes to Fury anymore. I mean, Bob's the boss there. I think Frank's the manager. He does the UK side of stuff and things like that. I think that's Tyson Fury also showing a bit of loyalty to Frank. And, you know, I don't mind that. I like to see loyalty in fighters because there's not a lot of it around today in boxing. So, yeah, I don't mind Frank being kept on. But when it comes to loyalty, maybe Wilder needs to look at loyalty and look at his loyalty towards JD's because that guy's going to get him fucking killed if he don't stop.
We're still going on about JD, man. Leave that guy alone, man.
But I can't leave him alone. He's fucking useless, man. What do you want me to do, man? He's going to get Wilder killed in the fucking ring. He is. I mean, come on, man. You know, when you're at the top level of any sport, you need the best in your team, your best around. I mean, there's no coincidence that the great heavyweights of the last 20 odd years, 30 years have had great trainers. You know, they all have. Do you know what I mean? Even Joshua's got a good trainer. I know people give McCracken stick, but he's the GB Olympic trainer, and he's a good trainer. You know, at the end of the day, he proved that in the rematch with Ruiz. He got Joshua, give him a game plan, it worked, and Joshua looked quite good doing it. Let's be real, he did. It was boring to watch at times, but so he's proved he's a good. But you just need the best guys in your team.
That's
and
right.
If you cut corners when it comes to your team, you could end up like Gerald McCullen. When you're in trouble, when you're not breathing properly, you need to be pulling out. You got some fucking clown in the ring telling you to carry on doing what you're doing and too scared to pull you out anyway. See what happens? Well, we all know what Gerald's doing right now. So this is the difference between this. Is why I keep saying fighters shouldn't cut corners and try to save pennies when it comes to trainers because they're getting paid so much money anyway. Do you know what I mean?
JD believed in his fighter. That's the difference.
That's a good point.
He believed in Wilder, and that's what he needs. Somebody that believes in him.
Oh, wait a minute. You're being sarcastic. What the fuck? By the way, who would you guys rather be trained by, Ben Davison or JD's? Who would you rather have in your corner?
Fuck.
That's like asking me, well, would I rather have AIDS or cancer? That's for real.
Well, at least you have fun getting AIDS.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, for a night. You know, but look, Ben Davison's a lot better trainer than JD. Let's be real. I mean, I give Davison a stick because I just don't like his style of fighting. I think he's one of them trainers that brings a game plan to make him look good, and when he knows when a camera's on him, let's just say that he's just a fucking narcissist. And I don't like people like that. The last people you need around you when you're a boxer is narcissists around you, and I think the best thing Tyson Fury ever did was go to the Kronk. I mean, it was just a master class move for him, and I'd encourage a lot of other British fighters to do that as well, because you need the best around you. And look, right now, the British trainers, there's a couple out there that are quite good, but you know, there's a lot of terrible ones as well. So that's where we are.
Hey, going back to the Frank Warren thing, do you guys think Frank Warren got pissed off because Eddie Hearn announced this piece of information first?
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we said, Frank Warren he's a little bit like the Don King of England right now. I mean, he's been usurped essentially by other promoters. You know, he the best is in the past for him. Now he's co-promoting, or I don't know what his deal is, between Fury and Arum. So I think he's a little bit. He doesn't like it when other people announce fights before. He wants to announce them way before they're actually signed. So I think.
Just put it this way, right? On my Facebook today, I actually did a little post. I asked my Facebook friends who they thought would win the fight, Fury or Joshua, and I've not had one person. I've got 80 odd comments on the post. Not one person has said Joshua's going to win that fight. And look, Joshua used to be a big name on my Facebook. Everyone liked Joshua. You know what he did the other day in that speech he did. He has lost all sorts of fans. I mean, he's just put himself in a terrible. But like he gives a fuck. He's a multi-millionaire. He could retire tomorrow. Who gives a shit? But he's lost all his fans. I mean, everyone's. Well, I won't say some of the words that people are calling him on my timeline because this is a family show. But look.
Oh wait! What did he say? Because I heard some people. Yeah, well, I don't know what he said. He gave a speech.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to misquote Joshua because when you do say stuff like this, if you all it takes you to get a couple of things wrong and you got all these fucking clowns, going mad at you. So I'd encourage people to look at the South. It's all over the internet. He did a speech, but the problem was it was a speech written by someone else, and by the looks of it, some fucking mad Marxist leftist has given him a speech to read out, and fucking dumbass Joshua, dumb as a box of rocks, probably not even read it first and just read it out, and he's fucking out. I thought it was Al Sharpton there, not Anthony Joshua. I mean, come on, man.
Well, listen. Anyway, let's stick it to boxing for today because this
is boxing, isn't it? Fucking hell, this is boxing.
I know. But I'm saying what I'm saying is you mentioned that. Oh shit! Hold on.
You got to remember, this is boxing because this is affecting Joshua's fan base. I'm going by what I've seen today. Look,
right.
I didn't really get too offended by what Joshua said because I knew he was a fucking racist anyway. I mean, what's his name will tell us that. Who's the American fighter that he inboxed? I can't remember now. what's his name? But I don't mind that. I still rate him as a guy. I like Joshua. I think he's had some bad advice. That's where I am with Joshua. I just don't think he's as bad as people say. I don't think he's going walking around like, you know, part of the Hebrew Israelites or something like that. You know, I just bad advice, and he made a big mistake, because what I've seen on my Facebook, he doesn't have a lot of people on his side at the moment. And that's a shame, because this guy was the biggest star in British boxing last year. He probably still is, or one of them. But look, I've watched his fan base dwindle, and I'm one that I'll pay for the Joshua Fury fights, but if Joshua goes on to fight other guys, I definitely won't be paying for him, and my support for him has gone. And everyone was calling me a Joshua fanboy on here, but you can't call me that no more, because my support for Joshua's gone. Because anyone that tries to be divisive in a time like this, where it's chaos all around the world, I can't get behind them sort of people. And that goes for white people that try to be divisive as well. I just can't support these sort of people. And look, if Tyson Fury had said what Anthony Joshua said, he'd have got stripped of his belts. The media would have called him all sorts of names. He'd have been ridiculed. But this is the double standards we've got in the media today.
Well, the reason why I said let's keep it to boxing is because I don't know what he said. I get the feeling most people here don't have any specifics about what he said. Second of all, I don't care what he said. I don't get my social cues or social information from boxers. That's usually the last place I get it from. It's like the Devin Haney thing. When he said that, like, oh, I wouldn't let a white guy beat me. We used it on the show for fodder, because we wanted to do an episode on it, and even then we said we really didn't have a problem with what he said. So
listen,
same thing with Josh.
Listen to the chat. He said, what was wrong with his speech? I'll tell you what's wrong with his speech. He's telling black people to boycott. Basically, he didn't say white businesses, but he said other races, businesses of other races. But I know what he meant, right? But he didn't mind taking millions of pounds of white people's money, supporting him for fights and paying for his pay-per-view events and going to watch him at Wembley Stadium. He's a hypocrite. He's made £100 million, and now all of a sudden he wants to be pro-black activist. Get the fuck out of it. You was a simp. You was a fucking Uncle Tom last year, and now all of a sudden you're fucking Muhammad Ali reborn. He's fake as fuck. Dillian White, he called Joshua out for what he was. He said Femi. He calls him Femi. He goes, the man's the fucking fakest guy you'll ever meet in your life. Because Dillian White knows him better than we do. And look, I've always got behind Joshua because I get behind my countrymen. I'm not a guy that looks at someone's colour and picks a winner. If you're a British guy, you could be fucking any colour, I'll support you. But what he did was just at a time that is really divisive at the moment. I just thought it was really classless of him. And let's be real, he's been saying a few things recently that's been getting on my nerves, but this was just the final straw for me.
Well, listen, you have the right to dislike Josh, especially with the president, because there is a precedent here about him saying in a private conversation, calling the black race the superior race. So I understand why people would dislike him. I don't know what he said specifically. Butcher just sent me a link here, but I'm not going to read that. It's a video plus on that.
Yeah, just play it. It's like a minute.
Oh, boy. All right.
I don't know how long he spoke, but
from
this will give
today
you
onwards, be proud. We can no longer sit back and remain silent on the senseless.
Yeah, by the way, he's reading a speech, so yeah, there might be something onto what Stu said that somebody from the Nation of Islam.
You kind of like read it before you read it out loud. I mean, that would be just logical, but this guy did. I guess it was the first time he was reading it. Go ahead.
Unlawful killings, sly racism of another human being based only on what? Their skin color. We need to speak out in peaceful demonstrations, just like today. So well done, Watford. Inject the vaccine. We must not use a demonstration for selfish motives and turn it into rioting and looting. We need to be united in non-violent demonstrations, show them where it hurts, abstain from spending your money in their shops and in economies and invest in black.
Yeah, I think that's what pissed people. I'm pretty sure that's what set people off when he said there. So he's talking about a specific group.
Hit him in their pocket. The thing is with Joshua, I don't think he's thinking this fucking over properly, because when he talks about just go to black businesses, I mean, not everywhere is like Brixton and Hackney. I mean, when you're a black person living in white neighbourhoods, where are you going to fucking shop? Because I live in a white neighbourhood. I can't think of one black shop around here. Not one in the 20, 30 mile range from where I live. So it's all right saying stick to black businesses when you're in Hackney or Handsworth in Birmingham or fucking Moss Side in Manchester, but when you're in, say, somewhere like Surrey or somewhere like, what is,
All right.
Just a bad.
By the way, there's a guy in the
vibe.
chat room says, so there means white people? Fucking hell. Well, who else is he talking about? Do you think he's talking about Mexicans or Puerto Ricans? I mean, come on, man. I mean, let's
come on,
keep it
mate.
real.
I mean,
By
look,
the way,
that just shows you how what. Look, just block him. He's a fucking dumbass by the sounds of it.
All right, listen.
Just can't tolerate people like that anymore. My patience is running thin. I mean, just use your fucking common sense. You know, someone doesn't have to say something for you to know what they mean. If you're smart enough, you'll connect the dots straight away and you'll work out what they're saying. Obviously, UN. I mean, who else is he talking about? The fucking South African community, or who else is he talking about?
Hi, Johnny Boy gave us a contribution. Thank you. And he says Fury AJ will never happen. If it does, it's 2022. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe. Well, we're gonna talk about that. But before, I just want to mention what AJ said about not shopping in their shops of whatever. First of all, let's say he meant white people. Okay. What if a white guy who isn't racist has his shop now boycotted because he's considered racist? Isn't that racist in itself to consider like non-black people racist? You don't even know who these guys are, man.
Yeah, that's right. The stereotyping, generalizing.
Stereotyping.
All right, but listen. Okay, first of all, let's not delete comments unless they're really fucking out of the blue or out of the norm. Because this guy Mojave is saying, he starts off by saying it's not about white against black, and thanks everyone that came. Yeah, but you can understand why with the precedent when he said he's talked about.
I didn't delete him. I deleted him because he said this is meant to be a boxing channel, and we're not here to fucking keep Mo Jav entertained all night. Well, I don't know about you.
I didn't even want to talk
about what we need to talk.
I didn't even want to talk about this, but since we're talking about it, I'll just say this.
I thought this is why you brought the. I thought you knew all this. I thought this is what made
somebody
all
in the chat.
news.
No, I told you I hadn't heard what he said. I didn't even know until I was playing the video now. Now, again, I'm going to be fair here because that's what I always am here. I don't think Joshua is a racist necessarily. He's in his 20s. No. He's in his 20s. He's not the brightest bulb in the closet.
Exactly.
Like Stu said, the guy's a hypocrite because he talks about these people. I don't want to take their money. Meanwhile, he's taking money from big companies before. He went to Saudi Arabia. He considers himself a proud black man, but he goes to Saudi Arabia where there's still slavery there. Essentially, read up on it. So you can tell he's not. I don't think he's a mean-spirited person. I just think he's naive, as it often happens with people. Yeah, go ahead.
This guy's not going around saying This guy's not going around saying kill the cracker. Let's be real. He's not that sort of guy. I don't think he's the sort of guy that sees a white man and wants to punch him in the chin either. I just think, like I said, misinformed, dumb as a box of rocks. And like Butcho just said, you, as a star with that sort of claret behind you, you never read a speech without looking at the speech and knowing what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I've heard him speak before. I actually think he's pretty intelligent. He's well-spoken, very articulated. He's no Deontay Wilder or Floyd Mayweather when he speaks. He could actually string his sentences
That's a good
together.
point.
Yeah, he might be well-spoken, but the fact is he's misguided.
I think also the moment, he's misguided, but right now this is a very hot topic. He shows up to this rally. He probably got all riled up. You know what I mean? And so then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna, become this activist all of a sudden. But it's the moment. He got caught up in the moment, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, man. Anyway, listen, all this to say that I don't really care what he said. Because again, I know where he's coming from. I know his mentality. I know he's not the brightest bulb in the closet. So I don't really, once you look at it from that perspective, it's you don't take what he says too seriously. That's the way I do. Instead of being annoyed by people, what I do is I go, all right, he's just talking out of his ass. It happens.
Like I said, I'm not too fussed. I'm just going by what I've seen on my Facebook because I put the post up and I was seeing a lot of people turn on Anthony Joshua. And this is from Joshua's gone from the golden child of Great Britain to the enemy of the state. Sort of, I mean, it's just bizarre because I'm not sort of guy that hates the guy now, but I'd love to see Fury knock him out for what he said. I really would.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the actual matchup itself, because I did a video where we talked about Joshua versus Fury and how there's a lot of people that think that since what Fury did to Wilder in the rematch, all he has to do is do it against everybody else and nobody's going to be able to handle him. there's a couple of differences between Fury and Wilder, mainly the size and the fact that Joshua actually has good combination punching. He's got good technique, and he can counter and fight off the back foot. So, guys, my question to you is: if you're in Fury's corner, do you tell him to box, or do you tell him to brawl?
Box.
You gotta box. You gotta box this guy because Joshua can punch with both hands. This is where you're gonna make the clear separation between who's a real knockout puncher between Wilder and Joshua, because Joshua can punch you with both hands.
Yeah,
he's not like
true.
a one-trick pony.
That's true. That's what Gonzalo said is very true. I mean, with Joshua, very dangerous at mid-range and in the pocket with his short shots. The problem with Joshua is, you go and watch his fights, the man just can't get out of the way of a straight right hand down the pipe. He just doesn't see him coming. He closes his eye. I'm starting to think he's like Michael Bisping fighting blind in one eye or something, because he just never seems to see the fucking right hand down the pipe. And I think Fury should fight at range on this one. Like I said, you've got to mix it up with different styles. I think range at long distance, using the jab and the boxing skills, and he's got to be very careful when he's flying in, because just like Gonzalo said, Joshua is very explosive when he's throwing this combination. So look, let's not pretend Joshua don't have a chance here. But I think Joshua's mentally fragile at the moment. I just do. He can't fight like he did against Ruiz on the back foot, because Tyson Fury is just much better. He's just much better than Ruiz on the back. He'll win that battle. He's going to have to take chances. Joshua, he's going to have to come up through. He's going to have to take chances. I just think he might end up getting caught with a shot. And let's be real, his chin is not the best. I don't care what anyone says. It's just, I think if you catch him good enough, he's going to go.
You mentioned, go ahead, Butch.
Someone in the chat, Floyd Does Dallas says AJ burns out quickly compared to Fury. Roids drain him.
Well, he did.
Stamina might come into play. Stamina might be something that comes into play.
Yeah, but he did slim down against Ruiz and showed good stamina there. So, by the way, we got Recognize on the line. Recognize, are you there?
Yes, I'm back from my injuries.
I just want to, Joshua, Recognize. I just want to wish you the best. I'm getting out of your coma. I hope you're all right, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
The former
thank you,
former Trigger TKO champ.
Thank you, Stu. Stu abandoned me Stu abandoned me in my times of need.
Yeah. You need to get a new trainer. Recognize.
I saw you cozying up to Del Boy after he beat me. You gave me that look.
Well, I was like Don King. You know when Ben, when Ben fucking slept McLean and started sitting there waving his flag, cuddling Nigel Benn. That was me, wasn't it? Started hugging Del Boy. Left Recognize in the corner in a coma with a gas mask on.
Fat piece of shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was some devious.
I walked out to the dress. I was walking out to the dressing room, and I'm expecting to see Stu still in the ring, having conversation with Del Boy. I said,
look on the bright side. If you win a rematch, you can be a two-time.
Well, Del Boy's already signed a contract with me. I heard. Yeah, he's already signed a contract with me. 3-fight deal.
For those of you
recognize, if you win the rematch, you can become a two-time.
Yeah,
I think I want my rematch clause.
For Recognize was weakened by that the costume, the Hector Camacho look, like that type of costume.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know what they're talking about the Trivia TKO. Recognized the former champion now lost his title to Del Boy, aka Blue Collar Sport TV. So shout out to Blue Collars for his new title. Now you gotta remember though, it's harder to keep the title than it is to win it. Right. So we'll stick to that one. Now back to the Fury Joshua matchup.
Yes.
The fucking Fury doesn't really have a good. What do you guys think? Does he have a good straight right hand? Because I've never really seen him throw a good straight right.
He does. No, he does. I think he showed it in the. He showed it in
exactly. Did you not see the shot? Did you not see the shot he landed on in the second round? That changed the fight to his boots, and it changed the fight for him. So yeah.
Wasn't that the shot that buckled him in the 12th round that buckled Wilder in the first fight?
Yeah, you're right, Gonzalo.
Yeah,
he showed it in a couple of fights. I can't think of. He's done it in quite a few fights actually. If you really look, I want to even say he caught Vladimir Klitschko and got his attention with that shit too. But if he throws the overhand right, I don't think he's gonna have the easy access to just come in and have his AJ totally confused the way he did with Wilder. I don't think that will happen.
The feints won't work as easily as they work for Wilder.
Exactly. Because
and then coming in, AJ has much more tools. He has an uppercut, he has left hook, so it's gonna be kind of confusing. You don't know what's gonna be coming.
Not only that, Bucho, he's you know, he stands. He fundamentally stands. I know it's like weird bringing up somebody's stance. He fundamentally stands that he won't fucking bite for every feint, because when you're standing wrong with your legs wide apart, that's what you do. You kind of you're just off balance, and so when a guy's doing that to you because you're kind of afraid that he might catch you with an overhand right, you just have a natural instinct to like just flinch all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that'll happen with AJ. But yeah, I would take AJ. I would take Fury to win, but I think AJ has a good shot. Definitely has.
Of course he does that. Anyone that writes AJ out of a fight is, it's just madness. But look, when people talking about the Wilder fight, we've got to get that out of the way first. I'm telling you now, I'm saying it here live. Wilder does not want that again. So that fight is gonna be. I just don't think it's going to happen now. I really don't. I don't think Fury's heart's in that fight. I think Wilder will take the step aside. He's mentally shot to pieces himself. Does he need another ass whooping? I mean, right now, I don't think he does. So wouldn't be surprised at all if Wilder took that step aside and we had that. We had that straight away, sort of thing.
You guys were mentioning the feints, and it seems to me like Fury is very loosey-goosey. We all know that. Very mobile. Very likes to fight with his hands down. Very quick for a guy his size. The other guy that was very quick, who gave Joshua a lot of trouble and didn't really give him any openings, was Joseph Parker. Do you guys think that fight could give us an indication of how a potential Fury or Joshua fight would go, or is that looking too much into it?
No, I don't think.
No.
They don't fight nothing like each other.
Yeah,
I think it's the height. He struggled with the Takam, with the Ruizes of the world, the smaller guys around 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I almost get the feeling AJ's like a lot of boxers, that they have this mental flaw when it comes to shorter guys, but guys their height, everything flows nicely. It's just
But how many
he either loses because he's the least skilled fighter, or it's not gonna be like this. This he could get blown out. But I think what will happen is if AJ does get blown out, he gets stopped. It'll be a stamina issue maybe in the later rounds.
I think we're going to see the same thing as Ruiz in the first one. I think he's going to have his moments in this fight. It's going to be very close, and then Fury's just going to take over because Fury's got a very good tank. He goes 12 rounds easily.
Yeah.
I just think. I think Joshua's going to blow, and then he's going to start getting frustrated, and then he's going to try and find a way out. I'm sorry, but I've seen it once before. Once you've seen it once, you'll see it again. It's like Zab Judah. When you saw Zab, I mean, every time it got a bit hot in the kitchen, that guy was trying to jump out the window, weren't he? So, look, I just think with Joshua, I think mentally fragile, mate. I don't care what anyone says. He's mentally fragile when it comes. He looked a scared man in there against Ruiz because there's a lot of pressure on him. Let's be real. I mean, the pressure Joshua goes under, none of us would never experience anything close to it, and it takes its toll on you. I mean, let's be real, just pressures of life take its toll on you. Can you imagine the pressures he's under? So look, he needs a big win under his belt where he gets a bit of confidence back. For him to just jump in there with Fury straight away would probably be a bit dangerous to him. So Pulev could be the right fight for him, but even then, no one wants to see that, do they?
No.
It's like I think that Joshua, he has a real good uppercut that is a very dangerous weapon against any shorter fighter that you can catch on the inside. But with that being said, fighting on the inside for him is not his best style because he can get punched in between his own shots. So he rather prefers to fight from mid-range. And with Fury, he's 6'9". He won't be scared of mixing it up because they both have long arms. And nobody will be able to sneak a punch in between each other's punches on the inside that easily. Nobody's like that nimble where you're going to catch me first on the inside, but you can catch each other because they're both long. By the time your punch travels, it's not really an inside fight.
Yeah. What Fury's got to do is the single shots are not going to be good enough. He's going to have to do punches and punches, but he's going to have to pick his moments. And then when he gets inside, he doesn't just sit there trying to trade with Joshua because I think he could get cleaned out. I think he's got to hold him and maul him like he did with Wilder. You know, just grab hold of his neck, just push him back to the ropes and maul him and take that energy away. Because Joshua's tank is, honestly, it'll go very quickly when you've got a 6'9", 270-pound man leaning all over you, roughing you up. The body shots as well. Fury throws a lovely body shot. That's what he has to do. I don't think Fury can. I think he has to change things up from the Wilder performance where he just steamrolled Wilder. You know, I don't think he can do that, Josh. I think he's got to box on the back foot, pick his moments, and then once he gets inside, he's got to hold him. You know, just rough him up. I don't want to see Fury sitting there trying to mix it with the uppercuts and the short shots because he'll get cleaned out.
In the chat, Carlos Mendoza. I'm gonna just read some comments. Carlos Mendoza in the chat says he's not a bum. He's talking about Anthony Joshua. He's not a bum if he beat Ruiz, Takam, and gave Dylan White a tough fight. And then somebody else, JJJ in the chat says fighting inside is dangerous for Joshua as well because Fury will lean all over him. Okay,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but that's what I just said. But what my when I'm talking about fighting inside with Joshua, I'm about trading uppercuts and trading short shots. You know, when it goes to a brawl, that sort of fight in the pocket, he don't need any part of that with Joshua because Joshua's quite explosive.
I don't think Parker like really hurt him, but he caught him with something that got his attention that he felt he needed to scoot back and avoid fighting on the inside with the shorter guy.
Yeah, that's why I was mentioning the Fury fight, because obviously Fury is taller and different in certain aspects than Parker, but he's similar in the sense that if he decides to box, he's not gonna give Joshua any openings. And Joshua, it seems to me, he's the type of guy that doesn't really look good if you're backing away from him and you're not giving him openings. He can't really. He doesn't go balls to the walls the way other guys do.
That's the thing. And even though he fights better with bigger guys. How many bigger guys apart from Klitschko could box on the back with a decent foot with a good jab, who had the feint, and just he's an awkward style for anyone. Fury, he's got a horrible style, but Joshua's fighting guys like Brazil who just stroll forward with their chin in the air, square on, and people like that. Charles Martin, big guy. Then this is a different fucking big guy altogether. He's dealing with. I just don't think he's going to cope with it. I really don't.
I'm just going to call it now. I see this fight as being one that they tie up a lot, you know, and it's going to be where they're going to trade uppercuts, and they both got good uppercuts, although Joshua got more power, but it's going to be a very dirty fight.
Yeah, that suits Fury, though. If it's getting tied, if they're tying up, it's getting all messy, that will suit Fury, because when you're built like Joshua, you cannot be wasting energy, having some lump leaning, trying to hold him off you, because trust me, when you get someone holding you, it fucking takes a lot out of you, man. I don't care what anyone says. So, look, that's probably what Joshua doesn't need any part of Fury mauling him and sticking his head in his face and, you know, elbow. It's just a horrible style. So I don't really see a way that Joshua can win the fight. I don't. But KO's the only way, but I don't even see him doing that because my confidence in Joshua is really low at the moment.
Hey, so Fury came in at like 270-something pounds. Do you guys think he was going to get tired later in that Wilder rematch? To me, it looked like he was very heavy, though. And I think for that fight, it was the right game plan. But against Joshua, I don't think you can come in at that heavy.
Well, you know, we that's a good... I'm going to say no, but it is a good question because he was having fun in that fight against Wilder. There was no real adversity there, you know, for him. So, you know, adversity, catching a fighter, doing some work to him, really that really tests your stamina. So, but I get the feeling the way how tall he is and the size, like being 6'9", 275. I mean, there are dudes that are like fucking, 6'2", 275, and they got a lot of stamina. So I do believe that he can maintain that. He can maintain that, but it's an interesting question because we got to see him. We got to see when somebody gives him some resistance. I don't think that Wilder ever gave him any resistance in that fight, so we can't really say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think what helps him is that he remains calm. You know, Wilder was very stressed. Fury remains very calm, cool, and composed. And he started picking it up right around the stoppage. I think he barely started landing his shots where he was doing better because he was screening combination. He was having fun, like you said. So I think the conditioning, I don't think it's an issue with him. He looks to be really good with the stamina.
Well, it's interesting because we're talking about how, Recognize mentioned that it might be that the second fight with Waller might have given us a bit of a mirage on how Fury can go 12 rounds if he goes in there heavy. But I was rewatching it was Otto Wallin. I forgot his name. I was rewatching the Otto Wallin fight, and it wasn't as close as I remembered it.
No, he's not.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it wasn't.
Fury took over, right, BDA?
Yeah, he actually did take over. He started fighting going forward. I think that's the fight that taught him, hey, if I want to, I cannot muscle a lot of these guys. And Wallin was heavier than Wilder, and he got out-muscled in there, man. He got out-mangled and actually took a little bit of a beating. So, I mean, I know Wallin is no Joshua, but still, it does show you that he can go 12 hard rounds.
Fury reminds me in terms of temperament of a guy like Floyd, just a little bit. Floyd Mayweather. These are guys that they prefer to box you in this slick style. They'll point you, but if they get hurt or something like that happens, or they feel like they got to fight. I think Fury more so because obviously he's a heavyweight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he fights, he takes over. That's what he does. Even if you're like kind of giving him, you're fighting back, but it's like Fury's dictating the pace. So I see what you're saying about Otto Wallin because I thought he clearly won that fight, but he got
also that's a good point. Recognizing similarities there between Floyd and Fury is that when Floyd got caught, he always remained composed, even when Maidana was throwing everything in the kitchen sink to him.
Yeah,
he was able to get through that. And Fury, when he got knocked down by Wilder, he showed composure as well. And before the last fight, he was very cool.
And they know how to fight. And when they fight with that urgency, there's more bite in their punch. Like you can just tell the difference.
You can gauge the situation better.
Yep. So that's a good point about Otto Wallin. Look, Fury right now, man. Maybe we all are kind of like living in the moment, but Fury right now doesn't seem like there's a heavyweight out there that could beat him. Joshua will be the big test, right? Joshua could be the big test. He could get blown out. We don't know. But I think there's a lot of ways Fury could win the fight against AJ. He could outpoint him.
Are we getting carried away by that Wilder win?
Yes.
Well, it's not just the Wilder. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll admit that's why I said before I mentioned, me thinking that he could beat every heavyweight is that we're kind of like living in the moment. But if you look at Fury has done this with several guys. I mean, he did beat Vladimir Klitschko. We've seen him in adversity against Cunningham was, a cruiserweight, but let's be honest, he's 6'4", dude. Like making heavyweight's not a fucking issue for him.
Mm-hmm.
So and we saw what he did. Like there's something like when you rock him, all his boxing instinct, IQ, with roughness comes into play, and so this is why he always pulls out these fights. But I do agree that like AJ's gonna offer up resistance. It's not gonna be like Wilder, who was lost out there. He was just a guy getting smacked up and was like fucking. He doesn't know where he's getting smacked from, So I think that if he does get AJ like that, it's gonna be out of exhaustion of AJ just fading out.
But
it's not going to be from the start.
If he goes after Joshua, though, the same way he went against Wilder, I mean, I'm not saying Joshua's going to outbox him, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to outbox him. Joshua's not going to outbox him the way he outboxed Luis. But like you said, the danger is not that. The danger is he gets caught with one of those big counters or one of those big uppercuts.
Yeah. Especially Joshua, as he goes back, he can throw a short to mid-range straight right hand. Or an uppercut as Fury's coming in. But, what I see that Joshua's a clever puncher. He can time Fury with a good shot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the big danger here. The other thing is this. I wanted to ask you guys because, and I mentioned this in the video I did, if Fury boxes Joshua, I don't think he outboxes him comprehensively because and I wanted to ask you this: did you think he comprehensively won the Klitschko fight? Fury, that is. Or did you have any?
Nah, he just he kind of got the best. He edged it out.
Yeah.
In the rounds that he won, which was a lot of them, it seemed like he just edged out Vladimir Klitschko. That's a good point, BDA. That is a good point. Good question.
That Fury there, though. I mean, it was a horrible fight to watch. Let's be real. It was just dreadful to watch. I mean, I don't think I've ever watched that fight twice. Honestly, I don't think I ever watched it again after the first. The first time was enough for me. And but yeah, I had Fury winning the fight. Klitschko didn't do a fucking thing. And the thing is, it looks sloppy because Klitschko is very hard to hit with shots from range, and that's where Fury likes to do his work. And Klitschko, he's got this. Hold his arm, his big fucking tree trunk arms up. They're hard to get clean shots onto him, and he's very good with his footwork and judging the distance. So it's hard to catch clean. So it was always going to be messy. With Joshua, he was catching Klitschko in the pocket, wasn't he? In the mid range with the short shots. So that's why Joshua that fight was a better fight. The styles gelled properly. Fury and Klitschko was just horrible, but I think Fury's a much better fighter now. To be honest with you, I think he's a far better fighter than he was then. He's got a bit more offense to his game now. Since Sugar Hill's been there, offense is just improved. I mean, he was still looking sloppy at times against Wilder, but he's learning on the job with his new trainer. I think another training camp this time next year, the time the fight's going to happen. Another year with Sugar Hill. I got a feeling.
That's a good point too, Stu, because that's why I say, if you look at the Wilder fight in retrospect, Wilder, it's hard. Okay, you can see that he learned more offense, more coming in. But Wilder offered no resistance. If you look at it, there was no. So you got one guy. Fury was having fun. Let's just be honest. When a guy's you go in there and he's a threat, and then you just got him. You got him flinching. You got him fucking moving awkwardly on the back foot, doing it all wrong. Every time you hit him, he's dangling everywhere. That's no resistance. So you're basically everything you've learned doesn't need to be used at this moment. It's just him coming forward, landing the 1-2, feinting 1-2, 1-2, lean on him, and So it's gonna be. I don't think that's gonna happen against AJ. I think AJ, because he's just fundamentally better than Wilder. That'll be interesting to see what else Fury could do. Maybe
the thing is that I don't think Joshua, right? I mean, I know he's explosive and he can knock Fury out. There's no doubt that he's not anyone out. But I don't think he's hitting that hard at the moment for some reason. He just doesn't seem to be doing the damage he used to. I mean, look, he dropped Ruiz with a big shot. Ruiz got up like he'd fucking like he'd been slapped by his missus or something. It just didn't affect him at all. And and then Parker was eating his shots. Takam was eating his shots. That's prematurely stopped. I mean, I think he's got power. But has he got enough power? That's the question I want to ask you guys in the panel. Has he got the power to knock Fury out? Because we've seen Wilder's power, and Wilder caught Fury fucking clean with a shot that would have killed a lot of people. So, look, he got it from that. Can Joshua knock Fury out? That's the question.
Hell yeah, he can.
I don't think he will. I don't think he could because of Fury's skill. I mean, yeah, anybody could get knocked out when you're in the heavyweight division and you're that big, but I wouldn't bet on it. No.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my shit. Is it working? Okay. Yeah, he's got power. He's got a higher than 80% KO ratio, and he punches with both hands. He could surprise you with more shots than what Wilder can do with that one single shot. So I think he does have power. It's just that he needs to utilize.
Well, he can definitely hurt him. I mean, he's 250 something pounds, but I don't think he will because of the fact that Fury is just too defensively good. And Stu, like you said, the guy's got pretty good heart. I mean, he got hit with the shot from hell against Wilder, and he got up and actually went after Wilder in the 12th round. So if anybody's gonna stop Fury, it's gonna have to be with one shot, which he goes out cold, or keep up the punishment. And I don't think Fury's gonna do that. I mean, I don't think Joshua's gonna do that.
That's what I'm thinking, BDA, because when he hit Ruiz, he was able to time him. When he knocked him down the first time, he was able to time him as they were breaking the clinch. So it's got to be with the single shot.
Exactly. It's got to be
because Fury's too elusive to string together a combination.
That's right. That's right. But I still think he couldn't stop the cam. I mean, he stopped him, but it was like Stu said, premature. Parker, like I said, he never went after him because he didn't see any openings. But the fact is, when he hits guys, Joshua, that is, you can tell in the guys' faces they're thinking, "Holy moly, I got to be very careful here because this is 250 pounds coming at me." And he's actually pretty quick. He's actually pretty quick for a guy his size.
He's explosive, Joshua. He's quick and explosive with his shots. That's what I'm saying. He's a dangerous guy, man. But like I said, I've seen this guy get. I think he's mentally broke. I really do. I see a guy that just not very confident in himself right now. And if you fight like he did against Ruiz, scared and that, it's just not going to be enough to beat Fury, is it? Let's be real.
So I see you guys doing something like similar to how Muhammad Ali was perceived, of him having a really, really good chin, although he got dropped like 4 times. We've seen Fury drop before, but we don't really know if he has a bad chin because he's always been able to recover. So I think that's what you guys are thinking as far as his chin.
But I'll tell you something now. The build up to that is going to be so divisive in the UK. It's going to be toxic as it gets. I'm telling you.
Oh, I was thinking the same, man. That's a good point. You know something?
Good.
Yep. If this climate continues, and I think that's what's going to happen, I think this is going to be very interesting times in the UK.
They're going to bring back certain things that Tyson Fury said in the past. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said some controversial thing. They're going to bring that up again.
No, the UK mainstream media is going to be rooting for Anthony Joshua.
Oh, of course they will. Yeah, the Marxists will love Joshua to win that one. But I've noticed a lot of, I'm going to say it now, a lot of white people that were Joshua fans have jumped on the Fury bandwagon now. You know, look, give him no choice, did he? You know, Joshua gave them no choice. So look, I see it being very divisive. I've seen it very toxic. I hope it doesn't start split the country apart, sort of thing. I mean, I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but this is where we are. British people are fucking insane when it comes to boxing. You know how they go, and you know this could be a real toxic build. I'm not looking forward to that sort of thing. I don't want it to be where politics is involved and it's getting nasty.
Yeah, I hate that shit. You know, if it's just like natural fans, even if it has to even if it has to do with race a little bit, I don't really care too much. But when with the media bringing up it, you know, all this shit and you know, getting involved and it gets like really political, I could see that being a big problem.
Hope it doesn't turn into Wilder Fury, the rematch. And man, the American media, they kept bringing it up. What do you think
because
about
the American media is a lot like from the way Stu talks and the way I understand it too, because I watched some of it online. They're the same. They're about divisiveness. They're about, you know.
Listen, look, I'll tell you how the British media have. The British media have got a problem that's in America, because there's no doubt there's a problem with police brutality in America. You can see it. There's, you know, it's there for all to see. But they've picked up an incident that's happened in America. They've brought it over to the UK, and of course, chaos over here. They're wrecking the statues and stuff in London. All the leftists are in London. I mean, the place is a fucking hellhole, isn't it? I mean, you know, what's that film? Is it London is Burning or something like that? What's the one it's called? That movie.
That's London Bridge?
No, you know the one with fuck it. White House down. What's it called?
London Bridge is going down.
No, one of them films.
London Bridge is falling.
Where the terrorists start fucking attacking everyone in London. That's what fucking needs to happen over there, because London's a fucking hellhole, man. I mean, look, I just half of them people don't even know why they're protesting. None of these fucking people care about George Floyd. They don't give a shit. They're using it as an excuse to get a little left-wing agenda and cause chaos. Let's be real. It's one way of getting at Boris. And look, it's an incident that happened in America, and it's turned the UK a bit toxic, because I've seen people on Facebook, people that have been friends for years, that have fallen out of each other over this stuff, and they've deleted each other. They're calling all sorts of names. I'll refuse to talk about it. I'll refuse to talk about it because I don't want to start falling out with people over this shit, because it's the world's a toxic place. I don't need to be falling out with people over subjects in America. I just can't be done with that right now. But it's a real, and I think this Fury Joshua, I think it's going to carry on from that. And I think when the build up starts, I think that's when it's going to start up in the gears. And
well,
let's
hope
I could
not.
see that happening, man. I could definitely see that happening. They turn this into like black versus white, old London or old England versus New England.
You know what? They might because the fact is the fight itself might not be that entertaining. There might be a lot of clinching, a lot of holding. So, by the way, before we continue, shout out to Santos Romo who donated with the super chat. He says, "I believe the Klitschko fight really made AJ change his style." Could be, man. Could be. Shout out to Santos Romo for his contribution. I think Fury's always been the consummate boxer puncher. So I don't know if he changed his style way too much after the Klitschko fight, but for sure he learned a whole bunch of things there.
Yeah. See what you do. Yeah. Well, with Joshua, because he actually closes his eyes a lot. I think all you got to do is you can catch Joshua out. That's why he's so easy to find with a straight right hand. That's why Klitschko nearly fucking starched him cold. Because Joshua was closing his eyes, expecting a left hook, I think it was, or something like that, and he closed his fucking eyes, and the right come straight through the pipe, and nearly took his head off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with Joshua. And I think he knows this, and he's worried about it. That's when you got bad habits in a boxing ring, they're very hard to get out of you. They are. It's very hard to get, because when things start going against you in the ring, you go back to your old habits, and that's probably what Joshua. He's, like I said, his mind's not right. I'm not sure he's too confident in himself right now. He needs a good win.
Well, we might actually be seeing him fight Pulev before he takes on Fury next year. So that will tell us, Pulev's, I think he takes Pulev under there, but Pulev is a strong fighter, and he does have the power of sexual assault behind him, according to, officially, although I don't think he sexually assaulted that woman. By the way, before we continue, guys, let's go to the phone calls. We got 2 phone calls here for the moment. Let's go to 510. All right, come on. 510, you're on the air. 510.
Well, when y'all doing a second Renaissance?
Second Renaissance? Oh, I don't know, man. It's we're doing boxing today. I don't know. Maybe on the weekend, maybe on the Friday.
Maybe tonight.
Hey, Stu, I got a question for Stu.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, Stu, have you kneeled yet?
Have you kneeled yet? Is that some sort of like American slang?
Have you kneeled yet?
Oh yeah, that's that whole.
Have you kneeled
to show solidarity for George Floyd and getting rid of the cops in his entirety?
I think Stu's silence means no.
He only kneels to the Queen.
That's right.
No, there's something going on here.
Can you ask the question again? I didn't hear it. Can you
Are you kneeling? Are you kneel? Have you kneeled yet, Stu?
Have I what?
Kneeled. Get on your knees.
Kneel to who?
And beg for forgiveness for your white privilege.
The Queen.
I kneel for no. I kneel for no man. Guess what? I have got white privilege. I love it. You should try it sometime.
No, wait a minute. That's not true. What if Prince Andrew?
I'm not going to apologize for living. I'm not going to apologize for living in a nice house and having an RS3 on the drive.
Okay, but what if Prince Andrew?
That's called white privilege. Look,
that's right.
That's called white privilege. Guess what? I live in a white country. Who would have thought, eh? Look, go to China and see how they privilege their own over everyone else. And go to the Arabs world. They fucking go to Mecca. No Muslims can't even walk on the same fucking road as them. So come on, why is it always us that have our privilege? Look,
but hold
you can't
on,
come to a country and say, "Well, you got privilege." Fuck out.
Listen here.
Boy.
Listen here. What happens if Prince Andrew meets you in a supermarket or something by chance, and you start talking and you get along pretty well? He goes, "Listen, I'll invite you to one of my infamous parties, but you get a kneel." Are you really going to miss an opportunity to party with Prince Andrew, a.k.a. the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Are you going to pass that opportunity up and not kneel? Come on, man.
Party Prince.
There you go. See, he's got no answer. I busted Stu. I busted up his hypocrisy. By the way, caller, okay, so he said no. Hold on a second. Father Jack Hackett, all right. just contributed.
I was watching that documentary, BDA.
Wait, I want to hear what the caller has to say. Caller, he said no.
Yeah, hold on, caller. Hold on, Gonzalo. Caller, he said no. So, what's your follow-up question for that?
Good. That's a good man.
There you go.
All right.
All right. You wanna talk about
Listen,
the
mate,
Fury Joshua?
what do you want from me? Do you want me to? Hey, do you want me to live in the gutter?
He said good man. He said good man.
Does this caller want me to live in the gutter so it looks like?
No, he actually said good man. Like,
wait a minute. Hold on. Is this Bay Area caller?
It is.
I want to give a big shout out to the MXBC later.
All right. Shout out to the BBXC, or what do you say?
BBC. Yeah. What about the BBC?
Yeah. Bay Area. He hung up. I understand. He hangs up. Like he just comes in and.
Like, bro, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay.
No. I didn't say that. But here's the problem.
Yes, you did. You did.
No, I didn't say that.
I was gonna say something, BDA.
Go ahead.
Real fast.
Please.
About the Jeffrey Epstein documentary. I was watching that, and Prince Andrew, he's really got some fucked up teeth. You would think that if he's a prince, he would at least get a nice grill. His teeth are all fucked up.
There ain't a lot of green stuff over there. That's what it is.
Green stuff. What does that mean, man? What does that mean?
Because their teeth kind of looks greenish, yellowish green or something.
All right, you know what? Good.
Maybe they smoke a lot of
reefer.
We call them cigarettes. They call it fags over there.
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on?
No, that's what they call cigarettes.
You know what, man? You know what? This is about as good a time as any to share again the comprehensive list of British cuisine. So let's put that up there on the screen. Look at it. Look at this the delicacies that they sell you over there in England, guys. This is what you're missing if you're not living in the UK. We got some steak. What
is your obsession with British food, BDA, man?
It's fantastic, man. Come on, steak and kidney pudding, black pudding.
Are you privileged? Are you privileged with a nice grill, Stu, or an Englishman?
Hey, mate. I've got an echo. I need to come off there.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
I don't know what's going on here. All right, hold on a second. LSD, man. We got.
I feel like I'm on LSD right now.
Well, hold on. I'm not even sharing the proper page here. All right, you know what? While I'm trying to set up here this whole thing about the British cuisine again, because we're going to revisit this, let's go to the phone calls real quick. We got a caller.
What is this fucking mock British food?
I'm not mocking British food. I'm giving it its props, man. It's delicious. And
You've never tried it, BDA. How can you give it props? You've never tried.
How do you know I've never tried
black pudding? Black pudding is the best, apparently.
Yeah, I want to see BDA. I want to see BDA eat a black pudding live on the BDA show.
Fantastic.
You might like it.
We're gonna make it happen.
What about faggots? Do you remember faggots on the list? Is that on there?
I stay away from that. Trust me, man. Trust me. All right, hold on. We got a phone call here. Let's go to 773. 773, you're on the air. 773.
This might be Kevin.
The media is giving cover for the people to show their true colors. They're able to show their true colors now. Anthony Joshua showing in plain sight who he is. The same thing happened with Israel Adesanya. You have all these little dorky white fanboys who think it's freaking he's some like Kung Fu Ninja character. And what does he say on Instagram? He says he calls one of his white fans a cracker.
Oh.
So that's the type of people these people are. I'm not saying in general. I'm just saying some of these people. You have all these little dorky white fans fanboying over him, fanboying over Anthony Joshua, fanboying over Israel Adesanya. Meanwhile, they couldn't give two shits about you. They don't like you, and it's just it's funny to see in plain sight for all their little dreams get crushed when he goes to a Black Lives Matter rally and he realizes, hey man, he's not like you. He don't care about you. It must have been a real heartbreaker to see. I mean, I never liked the guy anyways, but for all his fans, it had to be a heartbreaker. But What do you guys think about that?
You know, it's a good point you bring up, but here's what I'll say about the AJ speech. I heard it. It wasn't terrible. There was some contradictions, of course, because the whole movement is a contradiction. I mean, anybody who takes Black Lives Matter serious, you have very low IQ. Like that's just first of all, Black Lives Matter is like you're being very it's like you're being seclusive. You're only saying black. I don't care if they're like no, we're trying to draw attention. That listen, everybody knows that all lives matter. Yes, especially the good ones, right? You don't have to remind me Black Lives Matter. And first of all, it's a false narrative. Blacks are not killed at a high number in America. They're just not. You don't have the numbers to back you on that. Okay, first of all, whites beat you in that category. It's nothing to be proud of, but whites get killed more by cops, sometimes 2 times higher than blacks do every year. So it's a false narrative. Okay, it's bullshit. But also, here's something that I haven't heard anybody talked about. Because of the pressure, people getting fired, people getting culture canceled, and all this nonsense. Did anybody ever think that somebody kind of forced AJ, say, look, this would be a good look for you? Because if you really look at it, he didn't speak violent rhetoric. It was just like, be peaceful, do this the right way, and oh yeah, stop buying from whites. And well, not he didn't say whites, but we could put 2 and 2 together, right?
Yeah.
And start investing in your own, which is not terrible. But AJ's kind of contradicting himself because he lives in an all-white neighborhood. He gets paid by a white guy. His sponsors are mainly whites, and so I don't think it's terrible. I think, Kevin, that I'm assuming this is Kevin. You sound just like him. I think there's that pressure. There's that political pressure for him to say something. And it's going to rub people the wrong way because it does sound, a little bit divisive, and he kind of like contradicted himself.
Yeah, that's he like we were saying early on in the show. He seems like he's a bit of a dumbbell. He's a little bit like Muhammad Ali. Okay, he's well spoken, but there's a lot of place in that head of his to be influenced by people that don't necessarily have his best interest at heart. Kevin, what else do you want to say about that?
Anthony Joshua, didn't he say something else back in the day? Something about blacks are superior.
Yeah,
they have superior genes.
He refilled
like
himself. He said something to Eddie Chambers. He was dissing him, right? He's like, he said, I think they were going back and forth a bit, and in one of the insults, he said that Eddie Chambers is a disgrace to the superior race.
Well, there you go, man. Listen. I'm not. Again, I'm going to repeat my opinion. People say stupid shit. I mean, we're here for hours at an end each week. If you pick up something we say, you're going to pick up stupid shit that we say. Now, of course, we've never said anything, well, at least I'm speaking about myself. I've never said anything that would be indicative of racism, despite what some lower life scum out there try to pertain or say. But the point is, listen, this is fucking Joshua. He's a boxer. Don't expect too much from him when it comes to speaking about social issues. That's my point of view. So if you look at it from that perspective, you won't get annoyed.
The problem is he's fake as fuck, right? At least with Deontay Wilder, he made it clear from the start that he's a racist piece of shit. I can accept that, but with Joshua, fake, the people's champ, the man for diversity. Yeah, in his fucking inboxes, he's sitting there saying all sorts of shit and then coming out with nonsense like this. It's fake as fuck. Dillian White said it. The guy's the fakest guy.
Yeah.
That was funny. Anthony Joshua, he's supposed to be this goody two-shoe guy. He has fans of all races. When you're supposed to be a leader, you're supposed to be a man of the people. You're not supposed to divide and say, oh, only support black businesses. What do you want? Do you want to be a boxer or do you want to be an activist? If you want to be a boxer, then you need to be a man of the people. If you want to be an activist, then you can be go a social justice warrior, full black supremacist, and
great comment.
Activist. That's my point. I have no problem with people supporting their own, but when you're a
No, of
public
course not.
figure, you're a public
See,
figure.
the problem is with Joshua. The problem is with Joshua. All Joshua had to say was, black people should support their businesses and get behind their own people. No one has said a thing, but you had to put that little bit extra on, hurt them where it, hit them where it hurts them in their pockets. They don't use their businesses. I mean, well, what are they going to do? Where are they going to buy cars from? Where are they going to buy all these other stuff, the furniture and all that? Because where I live, there's no black shops that are selling that sort of stuff. So I just don't look. Didn't think it over properly. I don't hate Joshua for it. I just think he's dumb as a box of rocks. Let's be real. That's all it is. Misled, mismanaged, but it is what it is. All I care about is him and Fury fighting next year, and we're getting a big show. That's all I care about.
That's true. That's it.
I disagree. I think because he's a public figure, he has fans of all races. For him to single out one race and say, only support this, then black people should only support black businesses. You need to only support black business. You should focus on supporting black business. That's dividing. That's divisive in nature. So I have a problem with that. Even if he just said,
I don't have a problem with that. No, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. If he said, look, just get behind black businesses, support them, try and build them. What is wrong with that? Because that's what Asian people do. That's what everyone else. That's fine for them to do that. But he had to go that little bit extra and say, hit white people where it hurts. Stop you just giving them money.
Oh, did he
economy.
say?
He was talking about like hitting the economy. I mean, what fucking planet is it? If the economy gets hit, guess what?
Hey,
Less
Stu,
people buy his fights. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it.
He said hit white people where it hurts. That's what he said.
Well, he didn't say white people, but he didn't need to.
Oh, okay,
even if he did, listen.
Okay,
even if he meant. Even if he didn't mean just white people, he still said it about all the Asian people that have got shops. He's telling them to boycott them too, and all the other communities. So look, even if he's not just talking about white people, it's still a divisive comment to make, and he didn't need to make it, because especially when you see all the fans, you go to a Joshua fight at Wembley or Cardiff, it's 99.5% white people. It just is, and that's how it is. Would you bite your nose off to spite your own face to sit? And like I said, jumping on the bandwagon because he's such a corny motherfucker. He thought this was, he had his little Kaepernick moment, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. I mean, I still think that there's some political pressure. I think if you really leave it,
it's fucking.
I'm sorry.
Wilder. It's Wilder. He's trying to come. His little slam poetry thing. He's trying to be some civil rights advocate. Dude, do you remember what the hell he said? He said, what did he say? Oh, I'm going to put Tyson Fury on a, what did he say? What did he say, guys? Help refresh my memory. Something about...
I'm going to put Wilder in a casket. He made a lot of... I mean, listen, we know... He's trying to turn Wilder...
He put on a trivia question for Black History Month. He made it racial. He tried to divide and make it
right. Oh,
yes, what did Fury do? He said,
it's true.
What did Fury do? He said,
Fury would have
this
no
is man versus man. Color is irrelevant. So
and Fury tried to have no part of it.
Some social justice.
Fury had no part of it.
Go ahead, bud.
And Kevin, real quick, Fury would have no part of it. But it would have been nice if Fury would have said after the fight, "This is what happens when you piss off white people."
Well, listen. I mean, look. I'm
just saying.
Here. I know.
There's a reason why I'm not a political guy, and he is, and he can maintain this type of fame and pressure. Me, I would have blown it a long time ago. I would have said something like that, and probably had a bunch of people chase me out of the building.
But you know what? Here's my point about this. By the way, Kevin, anything else you want to say before we move on? Because we're gonna.
Yeah, my last point.
Oh,
Tyson Fury can come out and play the victim card. Easily Tyson Fury can come out and say, I'm a gypsy and my people have been oppressed and, oh, poor me, boo-hoo, why is nobody listening to my story? He could easily come out and play that angle, but he hasn't done that because he's not a little whiny bitch like Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. Just put it this way. Can you imagine Tyson Fury saying, white people, do you stick to buying stuff from the white shops? Boycott black shops and Asian shops and everything else. And so he'd lose his belt. He'd be ridiculed. He'd be the Mate, listen,
He'll be
they're
banned from
destroying.
boxing. Listen, this is
He'd
the
be
thing.
banned from boxing, and that's the hypocrisy that's what annoys me the most about all this. Like I said, Joshua just gets away with it, doesn't he? Poor old Josh. You know what I mean? Get out of here. I'm sick of that fucking guy, man. Every time he opens his mouth, I just cringe.
All right,
I
take it
cringe
easy.
every time he opens.
Cringe. Later, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy,
All right,
Kevin.
Have a good
Take
one,
it
man.
easy.
Hey, Stu,
he ends the call by saying shithead. I hope he was talking about Joshua, not about myself. Sorry about that, Ragnas. Go ahead.
I think he was talking about you. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No, it's the biggest scam. What's going on, you know? But the scam that black people are singled out and killed by cops and mistreated by everybody. It's the biggest scam world. I mean, it's just bullshit. But people buy into it. It looks like to me, man. Just to wrap up the whole thing with AJ's comment. I think if you left it up to AJ, he wouldn't talk about this shit publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Like he reminds me of the guy that look, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, that in private, he thinks a certain way. He views. Yeah. Remember, he's a Nigerian. He could be part of the.
The thing is, I reckon.
Wait, let me finish this. Let me finish this point real. I'm sorry. Let me finish this point real quick. He is part of the Igbo tribe. Igbo tribe in Nigeria are very, very smart people, despite the continent of Africa's very low IQ. They have a very high IQ. Their IQ is like first world level IQ. So they might feel themselves superior to most people. You know what I'm saying?
But the Nigerians, I've noticed with the Nigerians, they're very they look down at other Africans as well, like they're superior as well. So it happens all over the world. Like, it's not. But with Joshua, he's got so many yes men around him. I bet no one told him that this is a bad idea. Keep out of this one. Eddie Hearn probably rang up and said, "Great speech, Josh." He's such a fucking lick-ass Hearn, isn't he? You know what I mean? Just a corny motherfucker. He should have stepped in and said, "Look, Anthony, this is not a good move, mate. All right, have your little word, but this speech is not going to work." But no, everyone's a yes boy around Joshua, and that's the problem. Just when
he said, "You know what?
Look how many. Hey, go in when he fought Andy Ruiz in the rematch in Saudi Arabia. Go and look how many hangers-on and Klingons Joshua had around him, all patting him on the back. I mean, it's just
of course, yeah. That's going to exist in a lot of a lot of boxing entourage or any type of entourage with the main guy, the main event of the show. He has these fucking Klingons, but had he, something, Stu, had he just said, I think people would have been okay with, had he just said, look, invest in your own community, start building yourselves up, protest peacefully.
Yeah.
And not even brought up the hit him where it hurts thing. I think he would have been fine. I think he would have been just fine in terms of what his other fans think of.
Yeah, but this girl, I recognise this girl I've seen. Because she said about it. She said the problem what Joshua said was he's actually alienating a lot of white people that were supporting his cause. You know what I mean? That were there supporting the cause. He's just basically alienating them and calling them out while they're there. They're supporting them. I mean, you just can't do that, man. The guy's just not. Look, I don't want to keep going on about it because I don't really care. Because one thing about me, I never let boxing really get me like that. When my favourite fighter gets beat or knocked out, I get in the morning, it's still the same guy. Some of these people on here are fucking suicide watch for about 3 months, didn't they? I mean, I'm not that guy. So it doesn't really bother me about Joshua and what he says. It's just, it's a wrong timing for me. Look at this. The country's in a bad place at the moment. They're rioting everywhere. The fucking coronavirus. The place is just a complete mess. I just think it's terrible timing for Joshua. Because boxing and politics, I don't like to see them together. To be honest with you,
terrible.
Well, listen, look.
And
at the end,
if AJ was catering to the American crowd, he still owes the U.S. a victory because he came over here and he lost. He hasn't done anything in the United States to garner real attention.
You know what? Bottom line is, if you're a boxer, or an athlete, a celebrity, whatever. Stick to doing what you do and don't talk too much about your opinions on race, religion, politics, because at the end of the day, with Joshua. Listen, Joshua, Anthony Joshua. You're a guy that punches other people for a living. Stay in your lane. I'm not saying don't have an opinion, but be very careful, especially like Stu said, especially now in the climate. And by the way, right now, everything that's going on in terms of race and this little racial tension, it's most of the time it's the media, the mainstream media that smell big bucks out of this, and they push it on more and more and more and try to make it seem like it's something that's prevalent, which is not really. I mean, yes, race there is natural racial tension in the United States and everywhere, but more so in the United States because of the way the country was founded. But at the end of the day, most people get along. But if you pay attention to the mainstream media, you think it's fucking Mad Max out there, tribe against tribe, and it's just maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that. So
I had to tell this guy that I'm actually good friends with. And I said, "What's up?" to him, and I've known him for years. He's a black guy, and he ain't say nothing to me because he knows my political stance way before this. And he ain't say nothing to me. And as he was walking, I said, "Then go fuck yourself." I told him just like that. Then go fuck yourself, bro. If that's how you feel. How the fuck do you know what I feel about this situation? You gotta have that attitude.
Did you say that to Mr. BDA, or are you saying that about somebody else?
Yeah, it was Mr. BDA.
Anyway, listen.
Offend my BDA.
Yeah, you might, man. You might. Listen, I don't want to harp on too much on this whole thing, man.
Yeah, it's pointless. AJ is a boxer. I think he should keep it boxing. I'm not saying that you can't have opinion. There's going to be fans that if your whole thing is to keep as many fans as you possibly can, maybe that wasn't the best thing to say. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. But, listen,
it's like LeBron James, right? Recognizes he's a real fool when he speaks.
Oh yeah, he's a moron.
Yeah, like this NBA. Remember this NBA guys? Some of them were speaking out against the Hong Kong protests, and then they clamped down when the Chinese government started putting pressure on Nike and all that, because there's a big connection between Nike and China and the manufacturers and all that. And then all of a sudden, whoops! The NBA players and the staff, they climbed up. So you could tell that once it hit their pocket, they shut up about the whole Hong Kong thing. So don't expect athletes. But again, that's the nature of the United States. They put these athletes on a pedestal. It's like, this guy shoots a ball.
Because the athletes, the thing is though, BDA, the athletes actually get more shine and get more money being activists, and they do it doing what they do best in the sport. Because half of these guys that do it, half of the activists are useless anyway. Look at fucking Kaepernick. I mean, that guy might as well have been the water boy. What was his? That guy had no use. I mean, he was just a waste of a kit, weren't he? Let's be real, fucking useless.
No,
all of a sudden,
Kaepernick was
he's
good.
a big name, isn't he?
You know what it was? Kaepernick was good. He was athletic. He's strong. The problem with Kaepernick, he got figured out. And in football, once you get figured out, it's hard to reinvent yourself. Some guys do it, but he couldn't. Kaepernick is a salty man. He's also somebody put me on to. He met a girl that's all about the cause. He's one of those guys. Men could get influenced by women. It could happen, even to like an alpha male. You know what I'm saying? In a certain way, you can get influenced by a woman. So he started playing that little. He was salty that he lost his starting job, and then he played the race thing. He used it. I mean, the guy grew up with a white family in a 99% white neighborhood. Come on, man.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah, I mean, look at the millions he made. I mean, what's there to be? America's oppressive, and you made that kind of money. You're obviously, delusional, or you're just scamming. You're just race hustling.
We're in a society now, recognise, where it's just so easy just to be the victim. I mean, it's quite cool to be a victim these days and play, no one loves me. Get the fuck out. What are you so desperate for me to like you for? Just let me be. I don't like anyone. Don't take it personal. I don't like fucking any fucker. So it's not just you, it's everyone. So look, I get all these people, you hate black people. No, I don't. I love everyone. I just hate pieces of shit. And they come in all colours.
There you go. Anyway, listen, I didn't want, this whole thing came about because of Anthony Joshua. But like I said, I can't stress this enough. Expect athletes to say dumber stuff than most people, because that's just what it is. They're jocks. Come on, and I'm not saying all jocks are dummies, but I'm saying they don't particularly pay too much attention to their intellect, and that's not a dig at them. I'm saying that's the way society is structured nowadays. So don't expect them to be able to speak profoundly on these type of subjects. I'm not even an athlete.
Mr. BDA.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, do you think that Nike did Manny Pacquiao wrong?
Well, now listen, that Manny Pacquiao should have kept his mouth shut about that when it came to the homosexuals. That was just he went. It's one thing to say it's against my religion.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say it's against my religion. It's another completely to say that they were gonna burn in hell. I mean that he crossed the line with that one. He should have known better. But he's from the Philippines. It's a different culture. They eat dogs over there, man. I mean it's a completely different culture. It's a more dangerous place. If you think the ghettos are bad, go to some of the fucking places in the Philippines, man. I mean, it makes the ghettos look like Beverly Hills in there. So it just goes to show you the type of mentality they have over there, and they're very religious. They're very conservative when it comes to the religious view. So
I don't have a problem with what he said.
Okay. Fucking recognize he's a hardcore guy, man. Anyway, listen, guys, we're gonna cut this one short. So that way we can do more shows more often instead of going like 3-hour marathons.
One last thing, BDA, I was going to ask you. Any thoughts on Bostic retiring?
Yeah, you guys heard that Bostic retired at 30.
Yeah, I heard it too, man. Heard it too.
He never.
It's pretty sad, but maybe he took a beating that he felt like I don't want this shit no more.
Exactly. Or maybe it's also when you face a monster like Beterbiev, some of these guys maybe he already had one foot out the door, and fighting a monster like Beterbiev just confirmed, like, man, I'm never gonna beat this guy. Like in a rematch.
Yeah, the last guy, I almost killed him. I basically left him for dead. The other guy, the next fight, I'm almost getting killed.
But it's also the fact that he knows he can't beat Beterbiev. Like there's nothing he can do in there. He can't knock him out. He cannot slug him. He cannot box him.
Beterbiev beat Vosdik the way Dell beat me up a couple of days ago.
Oh.
Something like that.
Yeah, you went into a coma.
No, I didn't go into a coma. I was buzzed. I was like I had ginger ale in the brain. Like I had for about a week.
Well, Gonzalo, what did you think about Vosdik retiring?
It's kind of like Rick and I said. After one almost killing the guy, then the next fight, going to the hospital, you yourself, must have been pretty traumatizing.
Yeah,
fighting is emotional, man. Fighting could do, this is the one thing that some boxing fans, I wonder if they understand the emotional aspect that goes through it. Remember Trinidad crying? Well, you think Trinidad was crying? Trinidad was crying because he felt like he almost died in that fight against Vargas.
When did he cry?
That's the reason. At the post fight. At the post fight. Excuse me. At the post fight. At the podium. He went and spoke. He had shades on, and he starts crying. He starts hitting his chest, and he says something. I forgot what he said. What I think happened there was he realized how tough that fight was, and he almost got his ass beat. And that shit is, I would have not cried, right? But it is an emotional thing. Fighting is very emotional, whether you win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true. That's absolutely true. And when you get beat up, it's one thing for Manny Pacquiao to get knocked out with one punch and then come back because he can always think, hey, it was one punch. But when you get beat down by another man, the way Vosdik was against Beterbiev, and Vosdik knows he did everything he had to do. He boxed well. He threw combinations. He tried to show him angles, and it wasn't enough. That's damaging to a guy's psyche, and so I'm unsurprised that he's decided to call it a day. Anyway, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciated having you on. We covered a lot of ground on this whole Joshua thing. We're gonna come back next episode. We're gonna do one of those, either the Hall of Fame or the who stays and who goes in the next 2 years, because we haven't even scratched the surface for that one. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to continue supporting us via the Super Chat feature and the PayPal and Patreon pages. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to BDA Live. Check out the latest video we did on Vasil Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. And what else? There's something else, man. Oh yeah, spread the BDA gospel, the Kumetai. Don't forget, if you have people that want to debate, they can do it here on Sacred Ground. The Kumetai is neutral ground, so there will be no danger for anybody. So, like I said, guys,
right.
like I said,
you want to talk politics? Let's go to Second Renaissance.
That's right. That's where it's all about. That's where the party really takes place. Second Renaissance.
All right, gentlemen. Let's begin.
That's right. Thank you. Again. Oh, geez, Luis, what's going on here? Thank you guys for joining us.
And Del Boy, I want my rematch.
Listen, you.
I want my rematch. I'm gonna
recognise. Don't do it. Don't do it. Listen, as your manager, take the step aside.
No, you betrayed me. No, Stu. You betrayed me already,
brother.
You betrayed me. You already betrayed me.
No, I don't want to see my. I mean, Del Boy was doing an Emil Griffith on you. It was disgusting to watch, man.
Oh yeah, didn't Del Boy? That you called Del Boy Maricon. That's why.
Yeah, he took it out on my stomach and then started going. Anyway, let's not talk about the past. I want my rematch.
How dare you? How dare you?
All right, gentlemen.
Fellas, thank you for joining us. Take it easy out there. The world's a crazy place. Keep your chin tucked in, hands up. Have a good one. Right. Want to give a shout out to Stu. Recognize as always Gonzalo, my main man, co-host Bucho. Thank you for joining us, guys. It was an entertaining show. Actually, I like him shorter. That way we have to move on. We don't meander. And we actually have more energy to do things later on. So thank you guys for joining us. Before
and hopefully, BDA, hopefully we've nipped it in the bud with that politics shit, and we can stick to the fight and the build up now, because it's going to get toxic, isn't it? Otherwise.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Isn't there hella boxing coming on ESPN like 3 times a week now?
Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow there's the ESPN. There's Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think they said they're going to be holding fights.
Look, mate. If you watch ESPN boxing three nights a week, you're a better man than me.
Oh, come on, man! People want their boxing, man. What do you want from them? It is what it is. But again, thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. And hopefully, like Stu said, hopefully people stay out of this whole politics thing and just stick to the boxing. We do have a Second Renaissance. That's a channel where we talk about anything and everything. So go check it out if you want to get your fix there and talk about those types of things. And gotta go to the phone calls there as well. Get the phone lines open. So guys, thank you for joining us. I want to give a shout out to the Super Chat contributors. Mike P, Johnny Boy Boxing, Santos Romo, Father Jack, Hackett. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciated it. And what else? Want to give a shout out to everybody that joined us in the chat room. White Devil, Reverend Pickles. A lot of reverends tonight. Alex Collins, Kevin from Chicago. Thank you for calling in. Rahoa, Carlos Mendoza, Triple JJJ. Shout out to Triple JJJ. Amak PVP, White Devil, Paja, Gonzalo Anaya, Savat Kim. Who else? KT, Box. Johnny Boy was in there. Official Scorecard Boxing, Revo Map, Burgess Meredith, Alex Collins. Guys, if I forgot anybody, you know the deal. Don't take it personal. But shout out to everybody out there. Take it easy. Have a good night. Rest evening. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take it easy. What is this? No, hold on. Fuck. Where's the song? There we go.
Disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Because you got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.